To win it, and we want it more, you gotta want it to win it, and we want it more, you gotta want it to win it, and we want it more, you gotta want it to win it, and we want it more.
Let's go! Rugby's unique and special because a certain type of person plays it. You know, it's the kind of person who is willing to step out of their comfort zone, learn something new, hit another girl. But basically, it's just the best sport.
Like lacrosse, there's women's lacrosse and there's men's lacrosse. It's very different. It's the only sport other than basketball or soccer where the rules are the same for the men and the women, and it's full contact. So it's sort of empowering, I think.
Having a place to just forget everything and leave everything on the field and not worry about school and other stresses, it's a really special place.
For the past 3 seasons, the Virginia Flamingos have lost in the national championship. In one particular game in 2016, after leading UC Davis by 27 points, they lost in overtime.
And getting to nationals in California and just, you know, traveling all the way to play UC Davis and being up 27 points and ultimately losing the game, that was probably the toughest game I've had to be a part of. Just because I was so invested at that point and so sure that we were going to win.
In some ways it's tough, especially because we spend so much time preparing, we spend a lot of money, we take time off of classes and exams, and that way it's tough because you really want to see you know, those sacrifices rewarded.
Not winning the title, it doesn't really bother me. I just enjoy the trip with the kids, and what we typically do is, one time I went to Mobile and I couldn't tell you who we played. I don't know who won. I mean, I know we didn't advance, but we went to Dauphin Island and we swam in the Gulf, and then we went to Wenzel's and had like the best seafood in town, and that's what I remember from the trip.
After the disappointing seasons, the team is looking to do things differently this year.
So the most frustrating part about going to nationals every year and not winning is kind of feeling like you've let down your team, I suppose. Because you've all worked together in like a community like all semester, and every win, every loss, you've been there hand in hand with each other, like building each other up and trying to learn from your mistakes. And I think that's the most frustrating part about not ultimately winning. There's a lot that you can learn from losing, but when it comes to nationals, it does hurt you a little bit more.
We don't usually have a lot of tough losses. So we try to challenge ourselves by playing hard teams, and if we lose, it just tells us what we need to work on.
When the team goes through tough losses, we definitely focus on what we could have done better and bring that into the next competition, into the next match, and try to incorporate those things. But also we focus on what we did well, because in every game there's stuff we excel at and there's stuff we don't do well at. And so focusing on the positive as well as the negative is how we move forward.
So far this season, the Flamingos are 5-1 and hoping to make yet another run for the national championship.
I'd say we're definitely already preparing for nationals. The games we play this semester play into our standings for that, but every time we have a really tough practice, every time we have a really tough talk, or Nancy spends a lot of time focusing on what we could do better, it's definitely with those main goals in mind and thinking of May and thinking of what we can do down the line.
Something that's always been a big part about this team is our endurance and our speed. A lot of people, or rather a lot of teams, are more physical. You've got teams that like pretty much have big girls and like that's their game plan. We're a little bit different in that we're faster, we run harder, we're a more free-flowing game as opposed to like other teams. So a big focus for us this semester has been intense endurance.
This season, I would say there's a lot of cohesion on the team. We only lost a couple players who graduated in the springs, and we were able to bring on at least like 15 new people. So we've been able to really build up the numbers of the team, and we spent a lot of time focusing on how we work together as a team rather than just individual skills. And we've really seen that come into play onto the field, but also off the field as well.
As captain this semester, I've gone in with the mentality of thinking that we were going to be competing for the national championship from the first game. There's never a thought in my mind that we wouldn't be going to Sweet 16s, Elite 8s, Final Fours. That's always been the plan.
The biggest thing is no regrets. Be bold, be aggressive, make the biggest mistake you've ever made in your life and laugh about it. And if you do that, then everything's going to be good.
I was literally
This year we're winning.